Most travelers visit Lisbon and Porto, but Portugal has volcanic islands in the middle of the Atlantic, vineyards carved into mountains, stone villages built into boulders, and coastlines shaped by relentless wind. And most visitors never go that far. Clear, immediate contrast. What people think Portugal is. When you think of Portugal, you probably picture yellow trams, tiled buildings, ocean views, and seafood by the harbor. And that version is real. Lisbon delivers exactly what the postcards promise. Narrow streets wind uphill. Fado music drifts from dimly lit taverns. The light hits differently here. Golden, warm, forgiving. Porto offers port wine lodges along the Douro River, stone bridges that feel permanent, and a waterfront that hums with energy from morning until late into the night. But step beyond the main cities, and the country shifts. Fewer crowds, wilder landscapes, slower villages. The rhythm changes. Conversations stretch longer. Meals aren't rushed. The urgency that defines so many European capitals simply doesn't exist in the same way here. Portugal isn't just compact, it's layered. What looks small on a map reveals surprising depth when you start moving through it. Each region feels distinct, not just visually, but in pace, in atmosphere, in the way people interact with the land. The Atlantic coast, beyond the Algarve resorts. Along the Atlantic coast, the ocean doesn't feel decorative, it feels powerful. In places like Nazaré, waves rise higher than buildings. Not every day, but when they do, the town becomes a stage for something unpredictable. Surfers from around the world gather here during winter swells, waiting for conditions that turn the ocean into a spectacle. The sound alone is overwhelming, a deep, constant roar that drowns out everything else. On calmer days, the beach stretches wide and flat. Fishermen work their nets. Old women in traditional headscarves sell dried fish near the funicular that climbs the cliff. Further south, beyond the resort strips, cliffs drop straight into deep blue water. Some beaches require long walks down narrow paths, and when you reach them, there's often no one else there. Praia de Ursa sits tucked beneath jagged rock formations that look almost sculpted. The descent is steep, the sand is coarse, the water is cold, but the isolation makes it feel like a discovery. This is not a polished coastline, it's a raw one. The Atlantic doesn't compromise. It shapes the land, dictates the rhythm of coastal towns, and reminds you constantly that nature here isn't background scenery, it's the main character. Douro Valley, the terraced mountains. In the Douro Valley, vineyards climb steep hills in tight terraces. From a distance, it looks engineered by modern design, but many of these slopes were carved by hand generations ago. The soil here is schist, hard, layered rock that retains heat and drains quickly. It's not easy to work, but it produces grapes with concentrated flavor. Small quintas, wine estates, dot the valley. Some have been converted into guest houses. Others remain working farms where visitors can walk through the vineyards, taste wines directly from the barrel, and eat meals prepared with ingredients grown on the property. This part of Portugal feels deliberate, measured. There's no rush to modernize for the sake of efficiency. Tradition holds weight. Methods passed down through generations are still respected, still practiced, still trusted. The Azores, Portugal in the middle of the ocean. Then there are the Azores, 9 volcanic islands in the middle of the Atlantic. São Miguel, the largest island, offers hot springs where you can soak in naturally heated water while looking out over the ocean. Pineapple plantations grow under glass. Tea estates produce Europe's only commercially grown tea. The pace here is unhurried. Villages are small. Roads wind through green hills and along dramatic coastlines. Whales pass offshore. Dolphins appear without warning. You don't come here for nightlife. You come for space. The Azores offer something increasingly rare: genuine remoteness without sacrificing comfort. Modern infrastructure exists, but nature remains dominant. Most visitors leave Portugal thinking they've seen it, but the deeper you explore, the more it changes. If you're drawn to destinations beyond the obvious, this channel is built for that. Transition immediately. Monsanto, the stone village. In central Portugal, Monsanto looks almost unreal. Houses are built between massive granite boulders, some using the rocks as walls or even roofs. It's not designed for tourism, it's designed for survival. The stones were protection. Centuries ago, this hilltop location offered strategic advantages. The boulders provided natural fortification. Over time, the village adapted to the landscape rather than clearing it. There's a castle ruin at the summit, weathered, crumbling, but still commanding views across the surrounding plains. From up there, you understand why people chose this spot. Visibility stretches for miles. Monsanto doesn't try to be charming. It simply exists, stubbornly, in the way it always has. Alentejo, slow Portugal. In Alentejo, the pace slows even further. Roads stretch long and empty. Villages sit under wide skies. This is Portugal's largest region, covering nearly a third of the country, but also its least densely populated. Whitewashed houses reflect the heat. Olive groves grow in rows that feel endless. Évora, the region's historic center, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Roman ruins sit alongside medieval walls. A chapel built entirely from human bones draws visitors seeking something unsettling and profound. But beyond Évora, Alentejo belongs to small villages, family-run wineries, and farms that have operated for generations. Meals here are hearty: bread-based stews, slow-cooked pork, sheep's cheese, wine that's full-bodied and unpretentious. Life moves at a rhythm dictated by seasons, not schedules. Food beyond the postcard. Portugal's food shifts by region. Along the coast, sardines are grilled simply. In the interior, bread stews and slow-cooked meats dominate. Cataplana, a seafood stew cooked in a clamshell-shaped copper pot, is a coastal staple. Fresh clams, shrimp, chorizo, tomatoes, and white wine cooked together until the flavors merge completely. Bakeries in every town offer regional pastries, not just the famous pastéis de nata, but also travesseros, bolas, and quijadas, each with local variations. Food here isn't presentation first, it's flavor first. Restaurants don't rely on elaborate plating or trendy techniques. They rely on quality ingredients, traditional methods, and recipes that have proven themselves over decades. Why more travelers are looking beyond Lisbon. Portugal has become more popular in recent years, but many travelers are starting to look beyond Lisbon. The rise of remote work has shifted how people travel. Week-long trips are becoming month-long stays. Tourists are becoming temporary residents. Portugal's infrastructure supports this shift. Internet is reliable even in rural areas. Transportation networks connect small towns to larger hubs. English is widely spoken. Instead of rushing through highlights, people are choosing depth. They're renting apartments in the Alentejo for a month, spending entire weeks in the Douro Valley, island hopping through the Azores without a strict timeline. This slower approach reveals layers that short visits miss. You start recognizing faces, learning routines, understanding rhythms. Who this side of Portugal is for. This side of Portugal is for travelers who prefer atmosphere over itinerary, for people who want scenery without constant noise, for those who don't need every day to be packed with activities, who find value in morning walks through empty streets, who enjoy long meals without checking the time, for those who don't mind driving further to find something quieter. It's for travelers comfortable with uncertainty, where the best discoveries often come from unplanned detours, unmarked roads, and conversations with locals who speak limited English but gesture enthusiastically. This isn't a version of Portugal designed for efficiency. It's designed for immersion. Portugal isn't just trams and tiled streets. It's volcanic islands, terraced mountains, stone villages, and coastlines shaped by the Atlantic. It's geothermal hot springs and cork forests. It's bread stews and hand-harvested wine. It's villages built into boulders and beaches reached only by footpaths. And once you move beyond the obvious stops, you realize how much more there is. The deeper you go, the more Portugal reveals itself, not as a single destination, but as a collection of worlds, each with its own character, its own pace, its own story.